Frag Tag Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, baby, for another episode of Frag Tag Radio. And here with you today are your boys, Radius,
J to the Ray,
and matter of fact.
That's right. So we got a little guest here with us today, who has already decided to chime himself in. Kevin Jean Baptiste, Death from Above, up in the place, representing Brooklyn.
We throwing out governments now? That's how it is?
Or was it the Bronx?
It's Brooklyn, Jeffrey. It's Brooklyn.
All right, so for those who don't know, which is just about everybody, let everybody know who you are, what you do behind the scenes, and what type of games you enjoy the most.
I mostly behind the scenes, I mostly work on the site and help you guys out with the site, do some research and, look for any sponsors or whatever that we can to make the site bigger. Games I like playing, like you boys like saying on every episode, Borderlands, I like playing that with my kids.
You don't say.
But more recently, I really got into Sonic Transform. I'm really liking that game now.
That is definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
Did you play the first Sonic All-Stars Racing, or is this your first?
I played the first one a little bit. Didn't really get into it because I really didn't care for racing games like that. But this one I bought for the kids, and I said, you know what? Let me sit down and play with them. And then I really got hooked. And I was like, all right, I'll give this back to you when I'm done with it, guys. Get out of here.
All right, so with the intros done, we got to get those plugs out
Gotta
there.
get the plugs out.
Gotta get them. So, J. Ray, name all of the maps. I mean, there's just too many to even.
Well, we're on a bunch of apps now, as y'all are well aware of that listen to the show. Game On is a Windows 8 app by Underground Studios. Pretty sweet app, got a good Metro feel to it. You can download that on any Windows 8 device.
Coming soon to iOS?
Not any Windows 8 device, Windows 8 phone.
Right.
Also, Game RSS, it's on Android by Black Air. Now, you can tell them a little bit about the two versions because you're more familiar with it.
Yeah, Game RSS, you got the OL version and the light version. One is red, one is blue. The OL, I think it's OL version, is pretty much, it's got all the different news sources broken down separately. You can view them one by one. And Game RSS Lite is pretty much all the news sources brought into one feed. It's all based on preference. When I first started messing around with them, I kind of liked the OS one first, or OL, switching back and forth between. But then after I started messing with the light one more, I kind of actually like just having them all in one little feed and just going through and not having to switch. So, but they're all the apps are free. So, I mean,
can't beat that.
Yeah, definitely check them out. And of course, your boys, Frag Tag Radio, are on all of them. And we got a couple other apps.
Yeah, Xbox One News is on Android by Helix Software. Have they fixed the problem yet with the Frag Tag Radio?
Not to my knowledge.
I was told that it works on another device. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. If it doesn't work on your device, it'll be fixed soon. If it does, great. You can check us out on there. It's a good app, nice and clean. The other one is Xbox Game News by Rue XXL, another Android app, so you can find Frag Tag Radio all over the place on Android. And then World of Video Game News. It's a big app.
Yeah, that's a huge app.
That's a huge app. Those guys, Destroydy, they know what they're doing over there. They've got 50,000 plus downloads, I believe. So,
they've got a ton of different sources, and not just English either. They've got Spanish and a bunch of different ones, and you can switch between languages, so you're not like flipping through trying to find your language.
Well, it's worked out for them because they got a lot of downloads. So, and then like P was saying, Game On. Hopefully, it will be on iOS soon, and we'll be there. And we're looking to partnership with some other places on iOS. So hopefully, we'll have some more news to announce. Bright AI.
The classic. Been
on there for a while. That's Xbox News, and then also Stitcher Radio.
If them boys at Bright AI are listening, though, they need to hit that app with an update.
Yeah, that they do. Well, luckily, it self-updates through RSSs and sources, but they haven't updated it in a while.
Yeah, well, the only thing is, like, if you've got a bigger screen phone, it might not display quite right, which is why hopefully they'll update it to work with bigger screen phones.
Especially with the times changing and bigger phones becoming more and more popular. They're going to have to do it, Yeah. So, Stitcher Radio, the podcast apps on all the major platforms. You can check out our YouTube channel, at Frag Tag Radio on Twitter.
Yep.
And Facebook, so you can find. There's no excuse not to listen to Frag Tag Radio. We're all over the place now. Our website, fragtagradio.com, which P over here has done a lot of hard work on. Everybody's been writing a lot of articles on it, so you can pretty much find us anywhere. So stay tuned.
Boom. And got a new contest coming on the horizon. Once we get it finalized, we just got to figure out what it's going to be, and then people will be able to hit us up on the voicemail for entry into the contest. Yeah,
that's most likely what it sounds like. It's going to be while we're there. Don't forget, leave us a voicemail. Leave us a voicemail.
1-304 talk FTR.
You can text us too if you have a question that wants to be answered on the show.
Or hit us up on Twitter.
Tweet. Tweet.
Bam. All right, so moving on into the news. Top of the bill this week, self-publishing confirmed for Xbox One. Also, self-publishing even coming to Xbox 360.
They haven't announced any policy, or did they finally announce it? The policy change for Xbox 360.
Yeah, it's official. They're going to have more details at Gamescom.
Gamescom right around the corner.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I actually wrote an article called How Xbox One Went From Zero to Hero for Indie Developers, which is on fragtagradio.com. You can check that out, leave a comment. Just going over it real quick. Self-publishing, that's the big thing. Indie developers can now self-publish their titles. You don't need a publisher to get your game on Xbox One. But even bigger than that, every Xbox One will be able to be used as a development kit, which is huge.
That is
because huge. Xbox is the only console that's going to be doing that.
And not only that, but dev kits are typically very, very expensive.
Right.
You're talking $10,000, $5,000.
Now, it's worth throwing out there that for PlayStation 4, you can apply to borrow a PlayStation 4 development kit for a period of 1 year, and then after that, you would have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that Microsoft is making every single Xbox One a potential development kit.
Yeah, that's going to entice people that have never made games before to get involved in making games because it's less hoops that you have to jump through.
Yep.
So I feel like it's a good thing. I mean, Microsoft is completely changing everything that people did not like about them, and I'm proud of them for doing it. So it's definitely a good thing.
Also, the other big boon for indie developers is that Microsoft recently partnered with the Unity. So the Unity 3D engine will be available for free to Xbox One developers. And they have also integrated stuff for matchmaking on Xbox One if you want to work on Xbox Live. They've integrated Smart Glass stuff in there, Kinect stuff in there.
Which is really cool.
So you can pretty much, you can self-publish your game. You can use the Unity engine for free to make your game. I mean, there's pretty much no reason not to make a game.
Yeah, I mean, Def was going to make a game called Border Grounds.
Yeah, and you was going to be in it, right? The great thing is that we also going to be able to get games like Minecraft made by practically anybody. You don't know where these new games could come from now.
There's a ton of them already.
We've already got a ton of Minecraft clones on the Indie Games channel.
The fact that...
But now those Minecraft clones will be able to add actual achievements into there.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Smart glass capability.
I just hope we don't have Candy Crush on my Xbox. There will be sad day. Oh my gosh.
I would almost bet that might eventually come to consoles.
I'm pretty
as
sure
big as it is, and with consoles
it
embracing free to play now.
Yeah.
It started out with like Happy Wars and then we had Crash Course 2 and then Spartacus.
Yeah.
Spartacus is awesome, by the way. I mean,
for a free to play game.
For a free to play game, I can tell you that there's people I work with. A guy that I know went out and his friend had brought over a PlayStation 3, and he played Spartacus on it. And he went out and bought a PlayStation 3
for free
for Spartacus. And dude, every day he comes to work, tired, like, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, man, I was up all night playing Spartacus. I got 7 fighters rated 300, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I didn't think that, like, you know.
I thought it was good. It wasn't that good.
Right, you know, but apparently he's in love with it, man. Yeah. So, you know.
The only thing I'm worried about with this is that you're just going to get tons probably of just games that are just.
I'm worried about that too. You get on your Xbox One and you go to the game marketplace, and all of a sudden it's just tons of stuff. Yeah.
Which brings me to my next point. With the Indie Games channel, you can pretty much just get your game on there no matter what it is, as long as the community approves it. You're good. You're good to go, and it publishes itself up there. But with Xbox One, you're still going to have to submit your game to Microsoft.
Okay.
And
so there is a filter.
Right. Yeah. And there's going to be a 2-week period where Microsoft will check it over for quality, glitches, bugs, things of that nature. And after the 2-week period, if everything's good, then boom, you'll be self-published onto the console.
As long as we don't end up with a bunch of crap. Let's be honest. There's a ton of crap on the indie channel.
Yeah, there is.
A ton of it. And I don't want all that in my games tab.
If you look at pretty much any open market like that, like the Android store.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. And that's what I'm saying. I don't want my games channel on my Xbox One to turn into that. I don't want to have to sift through a bunch of BS.
To find the gem.
Especially considering that indie games aren't going to be separated from the normal games in the coming generation. They're all going to be mixed together.
Yeah. If I have to... Go ahead, Dev.
I was going to say, it really does cram it, because if you look like to go get a DLC or a game or look for a game, it's like right now, even on regular 360, you go on the page and you see a whole bunch of like Dance Central or Guitar Hero, 15,000 of them.
Yeah, so all those tracks. And it's going to be that to the 10th degree.
Yeah.
If I've got to sift through 400 crap indie games to find Dust and Elysian Tale. I just don't want to have to do that, and I know what you mean too. The DLC, especially, it used to really be where you would have to sift through tons of Rock Band songs just to find
what you want.
Yeah, it's like, goodness.
Yeah. So now this also means that every game is going to have achievements, right?
Yep. Indie developers will have the option to put achievements in there. They'll also be able to work with Kinect, just like they'll be able to put avatars in there. They also have full access to Microsoft's Azure cloud servers, so they'll be able to utilize the cloud on there as well as Smart Glass. So indie developers will even be able to make stuff for Smart Glass as well. Yeah. And the Unity engine has Microsoft Store Pro built into the engine as well. So if you make a game for Xbox One, you'll be able to easily port that game over to Windows 8 or Windows Phone and potentially make even more money.
Yeah.
We'll see how it turns out. Like I said, I think that what the approach I would have personally taken is I would have left the Indie Games channel and maybe have the Indie Games channel still be its own separate channel, but call it self-published channel.
Right.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
I think something like that will eventually happen. Like they'll finally realize, like, well, we're getting people talking about this is just flooded with everything.
Well, it's like P said, we don't want our Xbox One turning into the iTunes store, the App Store.
I don't want to.
Where I've got thousands of crap apps just to search for the one that I want.
Yeah, because now literally you have to type in like on the phone.
Like the Windows 8 store, Microsoft is boasting over 100,000 apps, but about 100 of those are quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many clone apps are there out there?
Exactly.
Temple Run, good grief. We've seen 400,000 endless runners coming out nowadays.
And those match 3 games like Candy Crush, Bejeweled Blitz, there's 1,000 of those out there too. But what can you do? We will find out in a couple months, man. November is
right around the corner.
Steadily approaching. But so speaking of Xbox One, we were talking last episode about how they possibly might have tweaked the GPU or upgraded the RAM. Turns out, confirmed, man. They've upped the clock speed of the GPU from 800 megahertz to 853 megahertz. Previously, both PS4 and Xbox One, both their graphics processors were running at 800 megahertz. Microsoft has now boosted the Xbox One up to 853 to help it render things faster. Now that's also going to help them since they're using the DDR3 RAM rather than DDR5. Plus, they've also got the ES RAM in there. So I think with the ES RAM and boosting up the actual clock speed of the GPU. Matter of fact, John Carmack actually came out recently. It was just a couple of days ago, and said that it's actually insane how almost identical the consoles are in terms of performance.
Oh, okay.
So
they are. We knew. I think part of the whole thing was when Microsoft came out, and they had all their system specs ready. I think that Sony kind of surprised them initially at what they had brought to the table.
They're like, oh.
Yeah, and I think it was almost like, okay, well, we're a little bit under here. We gotta pick it up, and they did, man. They did, and you know what? Props to them again. You know, Microsoft they haven't been set in their ways by anything when it comes to this console release, and it's a good damn thing. Because initially, and I mean, to some degree, Microsoft's still playing catch-up here. And it's not necessarily with the console itself, but they've got to win back all these fans who heard all the buzz from E3 and it's like, oh, hell, I'm getting a PlayStation 4, the hell with Xbox. Yeah. But you know what? They're doing they're on the right step to doing that. Because,
Which actually brings me, I'm going to skip down a little bit and then we'll come back up. Analyst... came out, this is about a week and a half ago, and said that, importantly, our supply chains are suggesting that Microsoft have the benefit of 2 to 3 times more units that will be available at launch compared to Sony's PS4.
That's surprising.
Which actually is knocking back those stupid rumors about the low yields or whatever.
Yeah, it is. Well, why are they having such a small... Why are their allocations so small to everybody? Yeah. You know, because you're hearing everywhere where PlayStation, like the pre-orders are so high, but Microsoft is allowing such a small allotment to people. Yeah. I don't know what that is.
I think is
it Sony allowing too much to be pre-ordered?
It could be a combination of that and the fact that Microsoft probably wants people to feel like it's sold out everywhere, so that it's possibly a hotter item than it really is. Because
could be.
I remember when the Surface Pro first came out, you couldn't find it anywhere. Anywhere. I went to Best Buy the day it came out. There was 10 people already waiting outside. They opened the doors. We all get in there only to find out they only had 3 Surface Pros in stock. Damn. 2 of them were the 64 gig model. They only had 128 gig model. And that was the story at retailers all across the U.S.
And amazingly, 3-4 a week later, they're available.
They were everywhere. Yeah. So either
it's a marketing strategy.
Either they launched too early, or they wanted it to have the feel of being sold out.
Like, this is really a hot commodity.
Exactly.
I highly doubt that a week.
Every system, like everything, does that. It's like Nintendo did it with the Wii. When the Dreamcast came out, they weren't allowed to those. 360, the PS3. It's a marketing strategy because you got to realize that they're coming out right before the holidays, and every kid is going to say, "I want an Xbox, I want a PlayStation," and people are going to go out. There's a store by me that when the Wii first came out, because they were sold everywhere, they felt that they could sell the Wii at $600, and people were buying them.
Yep.
Yeah, people on eBay. That was crazy.
Well, when 360 was so difficult to find, and I mean, I didn't pre-order a 360. I made that mistake, and I remember I was sitting at work. I worked at Carpet Mill and ran their warehouse at the time, and I just didn't do any work that whole day. I sat there with the phone book and called every store from here to Virginia Beach, and I was trying to find one, and you couldn't. And I went on eBay, and they were selling for $2-3 grand.
Yeah. So people buy it.
It was insane.
Yeah. Speaking of eBay, did y'all hear that? They were already people were already selling their pre-orders on eBay.
Really?
Yes, like the game is $500. They're already selling the pre-orders for $1,000.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting 2. I hope.
I wouldn't be surprised, man.
I got 2 pre-orders. So one of them I got on Amazon, where I didn't have to pay anything. All I had to do was give them my credit card, and they'll charge me before it ships. And then I've got my GameStop one. So whether I actually pay for the one from Amazon or not is still up in the air. But if I do, it's going to be for that sole purpose, to sell on eBay.
Get that money.
It'll make a profit off.
Oh, I know I'll make a profit. I want a big profit.
Yeah.
I want to retire. Anyways, moving along.
For sure. Xbox One will support external video capture. That was been confirmed just this past week by Phil Spencer. They were they're talking to Polygon. They pretty much asked him, is it going to support external video capture? And he pretty much just said, yep, exactly the way that it works today. So now it's worth noting that you won't just be able to capture any old thing. You won't be able to record like a Blu-ray if you've got it in the player. Any media that uses HDCP, which is copyright protection, built into their shit. So you won't be able to just have your friend bring over his Blu-ray of The Dark Knight and then just DVR it to your console.
Oh, okay.
You won't be able to do that. But you will be able to plug your 360 into the Xbox One. So you'll be able to use your Xbox One to video capture gameplay from the 360 as well, which is actually pretty cool. Something that I didn't know about before. Let's see. They've also announced this past week the Xbox Enforcement United program, which is pretty much a testing period for their new reputation system that they're going to be having on Xbox One. On 360, you've got the 5 stars, but they really don't matter because everybody has 5 stars.
Yeah.
When you first make an Xbox Live account, you have 3.5 stars. If one person prefers you, then you go up to 5 and you never come back down. So the reputation system has been crap on
doesn't
360.
work. It's broken.
It doesn't. Yeah.
They've completely redone it. Your reputation will be front and center, and your gamer card will actually be different colors. It'll be red if everybody is saying that you're not cool. It'll be like a yellowish orange.
You're not cool.
It'll be like a yellowish orange if you're just like an average. Sometimes you're off the deep end. Sometimes you're decent. And if you're a good player, you're always playing good. And yeah, you'll be green. Xbox green, baby.
Xbox green, yeah.
This could be bad too. It's like, because if you're playing a game like Call of Duty and you're just not going good for your team, and your team loses, and they're in, like, if they're in a clan, they just say, "Yo, just give this guy a bad rating."
Well, it's worth noting they prepared for that. And what I was reading, that where if you are too vulgar or if you cheat or something, it'll count like tenfold based on the complaint as compared to if you were just not preferred because you didn't do
plus
well.
the system knows if someone complains on you and they go and tell 5 of their friends to complain on you, it knows that those people are on his friends list, so it's not going to count that against you.
That's good.
They've really prepared for it. I read where it's going to be kind of a smart system, so
It's good. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, and moving on. All right, so first it was rumored, then it was confirmed by Sony. 4.5 gigabytes of the PlayStation's RAM will be available for games, where the rest is being used for the operating system. And there will be 512 megabytes of flexible memory that can move back and forth between gaming and the operating system. Which, a lot of, people, Sony fanboys in general, previously were trying to say that the entire 8 gig of RAM was going to be for gaming.
Anybody who knows anything knows that was full. That was bullshit.
You've got to allocate, like Xbox One, Microsoft has allocated 3 gig of the RAM to the operating system. So it's pretty much the same thing going on here. They've both got, I think Sony has about 0.5, like half a gig more dedicated to their operating system, but that's not going to make a big difference in the long run. They're still pretty much evenly matched across the board, and your average game isn't going to use 8 gigs of RAM anyway, especially not at the beginning of a console.
No.
Maybe 7-8 years from now, when we're getting towards the end of this next console life cycle, maybe then they'll be maxing out the RAM. But 5 gig of RAM is plenty.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that the operating systems are nowadays, and with multitasking becoming such a big thing,
now.
It's impossible to have an operating system not take up a lot of RAM. It's just impossible. Multitasking is too huge. That's going to be a big thing with this new consoles, switching between doing things and want it to happen lightning quick. You can't do that without rain.
Boom. All right. And so along with the whole reputation thing, they detailed their smart matchmaking, the new smart matchmaking for Xbox One. They're using advanced algorithms to pair players based on skill, which has been done with the True Skill matchmaking on 360, but now they're also doing it based on language, age, gameplay style, which I think is great because, like, Solomon jumps in a match on Call of Duty. He's 9 years old, and it's pairing him with teenagers, older people cursing all over the mic. Now it'll actually be pairing him with other kids of his age, around 9 to 10.
Well, I'm imagining that'll be the preference, but like, when the consoles just first launch, the amount of people online won't be the way it will be 2 years from now. So it won't probably be able to be as picky initially as it will be down the line. So, you know, I mean, I'm guessing that's preference, but it's still going to match you up with what it can, you know.
Oh, yeah.
For instance, if Solomon's on trying to match up with somebody and all three of us are on, it'll try to match him up by his age and his nationality. But if it can't, I would hope it would put him in with us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would. Yeah. It would. But it's also going to be good for older gamers who don't like hearing a bunch of little kids yelling on the mic while they're trying to play Call of Duty.
Amen to that. There's nothing more annoying than getting in a match of Call of Duty and you've got a bunch of little 12 to 15-year-olds.
Rugrats.
And, it just drives me crazy.
You got a little 13-year-old white boy rapping the latest Lil Wayne verse over the mic.
Yeah. And don't you hate those people that play their music?
Yes, oh my God.
On their mic, and you're like, dude,
turn it down.
Really?
Turn it off.
Do you think that makes you like cool or something? Like,
it was actually kind of funny though. I made my card on Call of Duty, Donatello.
Yeah, you did.
I actually put a lot of work into it, and I was in a match on Call of Duty. And someone on my team all of a sudden just put on the Ninja Turtles anthem out of nowhere, and it was playing over my headset. And I just started laughing out loud. I was like, all right, that dude obviously saw my little icon.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
But, so, definitely looking forward to seeing how this new matchmaking system works. All right, now, this was big things last week. Phil Fish has canceled Fez 2. It was... The straw that broke the camel's back was this guy from Game Trailers, Game Informer, the Annoyed Gamer, Marcus Beer is his name. They had their own little podcast called Invisible Walls, and he went on there and was like, pretty much when rumors started first coming out about Microsoft allowing self-publishing, they wanted to get opinions from indie developers. They went to people like Phil Fish and Jonathan Blow, or Blowfish as he called them. Trying to get, comments, their thoughts on it. And they pretty much, said that they didn't want to comment on it because those two developers are notorious Xbox haters. So that's probably why. Mm-hmm. And so he was pretty much railing on them for that, calling them hipsters, toss pots, all sorts of crazy stuff. Hipsters. And so after that, Marcus Beer, Phil Fish, they got in this giant argument on Twitter, and then it ultimately ended up in him canceling Fez 2, which was, crazy. I don't think I would have canceled my game over it.
Something like that.
Now, obviously, that dude, Marcus Beer, was off the edge. He didn't need to be, calling the dude out like that. If someone doesn't want to comment on something, then they don't want to comment on it. You're not required to comment on something. At the same time, I would point out that Phil Fish has been a notorious dickhead, for lack of a better word, whenever he talks to the gaming public. Or about the gaming public. He's said derogatory statements about gamers in general.
When I watched that documentary about indie games and it had him on there, he just seemed like a real sensitive type of guy. Like, you couldn't, if you were to say something against his game or him in general, that he would just like break down.
Yeah.
And even on that documentary, he was talking about how he just wanted to kill himself because he felt like it was he said it flat out. I just want to just end it, just get rid of this. Well, of course, he was going through time with his ex-partner and all that stuff, which is understandable. But at the same time, it's like,
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Really?
Well, that's a little out of control, if you ask me. But
so Fez 2 canceled. All right, now this is actually pretty interesting. Titanfall may support Oculus Rift, and for those who don't know, this is the
that
virtual
headset.
reality gaming headset that was just released.
Insanely tight, the tech behind that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's not going to get mainstream. It's not going to be mainstream. Not the way they wanted to. It's a niche.
No.
It's a cool thing.
This is the next Virtual Boy.
A good way for it to start taking off, though, is for games like Titanfall to start picking it up.
It would
True.
be.
If it's going to take off, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see it. I don't. I think it's fascinating as hell. I think that it's one of the coolest things I've seen, but I don't see people buying it. I just don't.
Yeah. I wouldn't buy it just for the fact that it's not your traditional console. Like, to me, that just drives me away from it.
Yeah, well, it's just made to work with PC and like smartphones right now.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the guys who make it, they pretty much wrote off consoles. They were like, yeah, we're not worried about consoles. We're just going to stick with PC and smartphones.
That's what they had to do. They couldn't. I mean, consoles wouldn't have worked, I don't think.
Yeah. The only way that would be able to take off is if they made some kind of deal with Microsoft or Sony to pack an Oculus Rift in every box.
Yeah.
Then it could be adopted. But that would be the only way. All right, so Madden and FIFA data from Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 will transfer over to Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Initially,
how you feeling about that, Jay?
Yeah,
of course. FIFA, it makes a difference because you have your overall FIFA ranking that transfers from all FIFA games. So that'll
you would figure that your ranking's probably stored in the cloud already, right?
Right. Yeah. So that is cool, but the other thing that I started initially thinking about is that if I'm going to buy FIFA 14 for current gen, because I am not going to wait for next gen for that game. So I'm going to play Ultimate Team and build up my Ultimate Team.
All your Ultimate Team stuff will transfer over.
And that's going to be cool. So, because, I mean, Ultimate Team costs a lot of money if you want it to. I mean, those packs of cards are $1 or $2 a piece, and I spent $60 on them before in one night.
It's like buying a whole other game.
Yeah, it really is. So good thing that'll carry over. Madden has Ultimate Team, so that's pretty much what it's all built for is Ultimate Team, because that's the most popular mode in these games now. So,
all right, and Dragon Age is doing something similar with Inquisition. Dragon Age saves, quote unquote, absolutely come across to Inquisition on next gen. My guess is that'll have to happen over the cloud, or maybe if you've got a flash drive with your save on there, you can plug that into the Xbox One.
I would think everything happens on the cloud automatically now, tied to your gamer tag. Your gamer tag, boom.
Right. Well, on 360 now, the cloud is an option. So, like, what about people who aren't utilizing that?
Then they don't have a choice. They can't transfer their saves. Too bad. Sorry.
Well, I'd like to think in a perfect world they'd make it so that you could use your flash drive.
No flash drives. Cloud only. Mm-hmm. Get it.
Is that confirmed?
Confirmed by J-Ray.
J-Ray, all right.
Nah, I mean, I'm sure you can do it through a flash drive, but get with the times.
Get with the times. Get on the cloud. All right, so good news for those cheap-ass gamers out there. Game prices staying the same for next gen. Not going up.
Thankfully.
Not going up. As we all know, this past gen they went up from $49.99 to $59.99 when we moved over to 360 and PS3. Back on the good old original Xbox and PS2 games were $49.99.
Good old $50.
Then they moved it on up by $10 more. Well, good news that prices will be staying the same. I think that's actually great because, especially for people like us who buy a lot of games, we really don't need the price going up.
No.
If
anything, we need it going down.
Yeah. I think back down to 50 would be great. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen, but that would be great because, like, it sounds good. $100 for 2 games. Like, I could totally bring $100 down to GameStop, drop that, and get 2 brand new games.
Yeah.
With $60, you're bumping it up to that 120, and I'm thinking, I'll just have to decide between one or the other.
Yeah.
And then get that second one later, maybe when the price drops.
Yep. But games drop
price
quickly now.
God forbid the used game rack.
Oh, God forbid.
This one. Next bit of news.
Oh, I almost cried when I read this.
Well, it's big in a sense because I felt like, okay, you got Kinect 2.0. You want to showcase what it can do. What's the best way to do that? Kinect Sports. Yeah. And now they're delaying it, and I was shocked to hear this. I couldn't believe it. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's not obviously not a big time AAA game where people are going to, go out and getting fits all over. But it's what is there to showcase your new technology that you have in the Kinect.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
now you're not going to be able to do that for a couple months after it comes out. And I couldn't believe that they did that. That was such an interesting choice.
Obviously, it wasn't ready, and they didn't want it to come out and perform like crap and give the new Kinect a bad name.
Well, yeah.
They wanted to come out and perform like a gem, so that everybody is praising
like
the new
it
Kinect.
should have done.
But it should have been ready.
It should have been. But it seems like a lot of games were decided on at the last minute. Like Infamous Second Son. You thought it was going to be a launch game.
Exactly.
It's not coming out till next
that
year.
pisses me off. Both of them piss me off.
And then same thing when the Wii U, when it was first announced. You said about Super Smash Brothers. The guy didn't even know he was making it until they announced it.
Yeah.
The only Kinect game that's going to be available now is what? Fantasia? I'm sorry.
Fantasia. I don't even know if
that's for 360. They're talking about bringing it to Xbox One later. I don't think it's going to be available at launch.
No.
So they're packaging the Kinect, and they don't have no Kinect only games. There's only featured games that's using it.
Not
that
a
makes
Kinect
no
game
sense.
available.
Yeah.
Your one Kinect game that you had is gone now.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely a weird decision, but it's Forza will utilize it.
Yeah, and Killer Instinct will too, won't it?
Yeah,
Kinect functionality.
Killer Instinct will just be for controller pairing and tournaments.
So they're still kind of, like you said, utilizing it.
Forza will actually use it for gameplay with the head turning and
again functionality though. It's not showcasing
the full potential.
Potential,
of what it can do. Yeah.
All right, and this is an article that you actually brought to my attention recently.
Warframe. I didn't know much about it. I read where it was going to be available at launch for PlayStation 4. I still didn't really, think too much of it because I know that they were going to have PlanetSide too, so that kind of took my focus on the free-to-play front. But then I read that it might come to Xbox One, and I was like, well, maybe I should check out and see.
It does look very Mass Effect-ish.
It does. I got to tell you, it looked pretty awesome in that video.
For a free-to-play game.
Yeah. It looked pretty stunning. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is impressive. Now, obviously, that was running on a high-end PC, but essentially the next-gen consoles are going to be high-end PCs. So, this is exciting because I know it's going to be available at launch for PlayStation. If it comes to Xbox One, it won't take long to port over. These are some good free games we're going to be able to play without spending $1. So I'm always weary when I hear free to play because you never know what you're going to get.
When you hear that, you're like,
Warframe was actually one that kind of impressed me. So,
Happy Wars.
Space Ninjas.
Another thing. Speaking of free to play, I was reading that the promotion for Summer of Arcade this year is if you buy 3 or at least 2, maybe 3 out of 4 of the Summer of Arcade games, you get some special stuff for the Ascend New Gods game, that free-to-play.
I think they changed the title now, though, didn't they?
Yeah, it's called something else, but it's still Ascend something.
Right, yeah, it's Ascend, can't think of it, but yes, it's that same game.
Yeah.
So
which is okay, but I actually liked it, the older promotions, whereas if you bought 3 out of 4 games, you'd get 800 points back.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but there was one promotion one year where you got the game Crimson Alliance for free.
Yeah, if you bought all 4.
I bought all 4, and I waited for Crimson Alliance for a freaking month after it came out. Never got it. Bought Crimson Alliance anyway. Still to this day, I've not gotten my free Crimson Alliance.
You probably could have called them and
I could have, but at the time, I was thinking like, what a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me if I buy these 4 games, I'm going to get one free, and I buy these damn 4 games, and what do? I buy a 5th game.
You don't even get your voucher or whatever, yeah.
Ain't right.
That's some bullshit.
All right, and here's one to get Matt's Phoenix Rising. New Mortal Kombat game coming.
That should be good. I saw the movie, too. What's that all about?
Yeah,
is that like a kid? What's that all about?
A new Mortal Kombat movie and a new game.
Oh,
now the first movie was all right. I mean, it was cheesy and kind of corny, but when I saw it growing up,
it served its purpose.
It did. Like I was like, oh man, look at Goro and Liu Kang. Like it's exactly what you thought.
Yeah.
But the second one was kind of, it wasn't good.
Yeah, they had Mintaro, or what was that guy? He was like half horse.
Yeah, I think it was Mintaro. I can't remember now, but he was Jackass.
Kentaro.
Yeah, Kentaro. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But my guess is it'll be pretty similar to the last Mortal Kombat.
I'm hoping they changed it up a bit.
And the story will either be the same as the movie or tie into before or after the movie.
Okay, yeah.
Probably a new story altogether after the movie would be my guess. But, I loved how the last Mortal Kombat game covered all 3 Mortal Kombat stories. That was
awesome.
It did kind of wrap it in a nice package for
What do you think, Jeff?
And that'll probably never happen again.
What do you think? You gonna get your Mortal Kombat on, or you gonna keep it real with Borderlands?
I had Mortal Kombat. It's like I don't have nobody to play with no more. It's like fighting games, even though they are coming up, they're not the way they were back in the 90s when we were growing up.
They're not.
No, they're not at all. I know Injustice, I was really excited about it, and I got it, and I played it very little. I tried to play the story mode, and I got into the story maybe for like 5-6 matches, and I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong, Injustice was a good game, a great game, but it just didn't grab my attention and make me want to continue playing it. And I don't know. I even got through the new Soul Calibur.
It grabbed Death by the balls and didn't let go until he had 560 gamer score.
Yeah, I mean, it was
like just going through the game and then letting the kids play it. But it's like, I agree with J Ray. It's like it's something not there that's like keeping me there.
I seem to remember Death and Party Chat with me and Matt going on for about a half hour about that story mode. You sounded pretty excited about it.
The story mode was comic based. It was like I enjoyed the story.
Yeah, and that's what I bought the game for.
Playing there is like it's not fun.
Now, Marvel vs. Capcom was the exact opposite. Had no excitement towards it whatsoever. Got on it and ended up playing a boatload of online matches, and that's just simply not me. I don't do that. And I remember just like new match, over and over again. Yeah. And I don't know, Injustice felt like Mortal Kombat with a little something missing.
And I guess they're trying to juice it up because I heard there's a 6 download character coming out. That Ed Boon has been putting clues out, and it's a character like all the people who enjoy the game is looking for it.
Yeah. Oh, there is. The Martian Man or
he was the fifth. He was the fifth.
He was the fifth. You're right. He was the fifth. He was after Scorpion. So there's a new one after that.
Yeah, there's another one coming out now with Martian Manhunter. He is not included in the season pass.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he came out after
only
Scorpion.
The first 4.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And, because Scorpion was the last one included in the season pass, and then they decided to come out with him. And so I didn't know. I haven't even heard anything about the 6th one yet. But
I heard the 6th one's supposed to be, like, to, please all the comic book fans.
Yes, that's what I heard, so.
So I'm curious to see who that's going to be.
Yeah. For me, I've played it. I thought it was a decent game. Didn't really grab me like that, but I've always been more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan. Their Marvel characters are just more interesting to me. You know, when it comes to DC, you've got Batman, Superman, and everybody else I could throw in a dumpster and forget all about.
The Joker?
Yeah, Joker's
classic.
The Joker is part of Batman. That's one entity to me.
Okay.
Right. Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like with the
Flash. I like Flash.
I was never a big Flash guy. Yeah.
No.
He has a crazy history too, and I don't know, with Injustice, and I played Mortal Kombat, I guess it's 9, the last actual Mortal Kombat that came out, and Mortal Kombat vs. DC. I just felt like it was really driven towards the combos. Like, if you knew the combos and worked it out that way, it was fine, but you didn't have to worry about the special moves or anything like that.
What I've always enjoyed about Mortal Kombat is, as opposed to Street Fighter was always about building up that combo meter and pressing one button and watching a massive super combo happen. Mortal Kombat, to me, always took skill. You had to do the combos yourself.
Remember the run button?
I liked that a lot about Mortal Kombat.
Fatalities alone took a long time to master.
You're right. I mean, you had to sit there. I remember being able, it was like Mortal Kombat 2 or 3, and I actually had spent so much time with it that I could play a Shang song, wolf into almost anybody and do their fatality, at the end.
Yeah.
And that took time. I mean, you know how many times I tried to memorize these things? You can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, you just
That's why I just picked Liu Kang and stuck with him. I mastered him, and I was good with him.
Because it was so hard to master other characters and stuff. Now don't get me wrong, I couldn't just be Shang Tsung and morph into anybody. There was a handful of them I could do
The
that.
characters that you liked.
But I mean, to me, it just took more skill to play that game than say your combo fests or whatever. Now, Killer Instinct, that's going to be awesome.
That game is looking dope.
That's a combo fest, but it has a whole rock paper scissor system.
And they got the combo breakers.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember back in the day, I mean, there was all kinds of ways to stop a combo. If you knew, people that play fighters and they're really deep into them, they pay attention to the frames of animation. So if you know someone's getting ready to do something, as soon as you see that first frame of animation, automatically, I need to use like a fierce punch or a medium or a forward kick or something like that. You could stop it in an instant.
Yeah, I mean, it takes skill to perform godlike combos and stuff like that in Killer Instinct, It takes skill to perform great combos in Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Don't get me wrong, it's just much, much easier to do those mega, Oh,
no, and Killer Instinct, it's easier, I think, because in the first two, Killer Instinct 1, Killer Instinct 2 are gold, you had an opener, a linker, and then you would hit it up with a higher up button. If you started with the opener of like Jago, it'd be a light kick, wind kick. Then you hit medium punch, and then you do a linker with his sword slash and medium punch, and then
Street Fighter's a little bit harder, but I kind of felt like Marvel vs. Capcom, they were easier.
They made it. They streamlined it like crazy, because if you built that combo meter up, 5 buttons put you in a combo that changed. In fact, the fight screen would change to animations.
Yeah, and you'd be like, holy,
you got to remember with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. People just made infinite combos. It's like you go to the arcade and it was just they catch you in a combo and you're not getting out of it. There was no combo breaker.
You couldn't
break
it. Yeah.
Okay, quarter gone.
Yeah.
50 cents gone.
Yeah. Wow, we could only be so lucky.
Yeah.
If 50 cent was gone. No, I'm just joking. Nah, he's not like he used to be, I'm going to say it.
No.
When he used to make those mixtapes.
Watered himself down.
Yeah, he did. The original 50 mixtapes were awesome.
Yeah, they were.
Now he's just
slow dope.
Drizzy water.
But
anyway,
All right, so WWE 2K14 got that Phenom edition. That's right, Undertaker. It's going to cost $100. It's going to, of course, feature in the iconic wrestler, The Undertaker. It's going to be available at launch October 29th, and that'll be, of course, on 360 and PS3. The game actually comes in a 10 coffin box.
Oh, shit.
It comes with a collectible art card, personally autographed by The Undertaker, and The Undertaker American Badass as a playable character as well.
Wow.
Let's see. They also got the premium bundle packs include The Undertaker, the Streak movie, as well as Ultimate Warrior as a playable character.
Oh, yeah. The Ultimate Warrior's coming back.
But it's worth noting that all pre-orders of WWE 2K14 will receive the Ultimate Warrior as a playable character. You don't have to get the Phenom edition to play the Ultimate Warrior.
This next bit of news got me excited.
Yeah, because I loved Bully Scholarship Edition.
I was very late to the game, and actually they had a sale at GameStop, and it was you that talked me into getting it, I think. And
Scholarship Edition?
Yeah, it was like $4 or something like that.
That's a good deal, yeah.
And I fell in love with it.
Yeah,
I never played this game. Should I go pick it up today?
It's like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
but like
school,
toned down. Yeah, you're in a school and you have like a potato gun.
Potato gun was awesome.
Yeah, and then like it's just like a Grand Theft Auto.
Walk up and give people wedgies.
Yeah,
it's like a Grand Theft Auto, but I don't even know how to explain it, man.
It's just in a school setting.
Yeah,
you have your bullies, you have other kids you have to mess with.
Instead of cars, you had bikes.
Yeah. Slingshots.
Oh, the slingshot was. I think that was actually the first weapon you get.
Yeah.
Is he the Mr. Scratch of the schoolyard?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I will go pick it up today, if not today, tomorrow.
Yeah, y'all. Definitely, you can get it for dirt cheap. I got it for $4 at GameStop.
And that was a while ago. You might be able to get it for 99 cents.
Yeah, I mean, but you'll enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. When I played it, I was surprised at how much I liked it. And I mean, it's Rockstar. Rockstar never fails to deliver.
No, they don't. That's one thing you can say about them.
Even their table tennis game wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I heard that got really good reviews. I never played it or bought it, but I was surprised.
All right, bada boom. Wolfenstein been delayed.
Oh, hell?
Yeah, man, more and more games delayed. Wolfenstein: The New Order delayed until 2014. No specific date given. They said that several factors led to it, but ultimately the game just needs some more polish. So the guy from over Bethesda said, working on next gen and current gen definitely has an impact. You're developing for two different things. The fact that the next gen stuff is still moving and is definitely a factor, but most important, we definitely just looking where it was at, they needed more polish. So just wasn't ready. And I'm all for waiting to release the game when it's ready.
Yeah.
Boom. And next gen Tomb Raider.
That should be good.
Confirmed.
That'll be really good.
Yeah, that'll be
happy about that.
Yeah.
But they've already had the her coming or her origin story played.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess you could just build off of that.
Which is what they'll probably do.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still not going to hit that same soft spot that origin story hit. But man, that game was incredible. So I can only imagine what they're going to be able to do on next gen consoles.
Yeah.
And we've said before, Tomb Raider, one of the best games to come out this year so far.
Hell yeah,
definitely.
So definitely looking forward to that, and no real other details other than it's been announced. All right, now why Crackdown 3 and Fable 4 are definitely in development for Xbox One. This is just a little article I have put together. I wanted to talk about it briefly. We've had so many hints at Crackdown, it's not even funny. Crackdown is a given. First was the leaked picture at the Xbox reveal of the orb on the dashboard screen. Then Phil Spencer came out later and said it definitely was not a mistake. That was on purpose. And then he came out and pretty much said if we were to make a next-gen Crackdown, then it would include the cloud infrastructure. It would be based on open worlds, and it would include living realities based in the cloud. So that's pretty much a confirmation right there.
Yeah.
I mean, and then on top of that, they are giving Crackdown away for free as games for gold right now.
They are pushing that hard.
What other reason than to get people pumped up for another Crackdown? You know? And Gamescom is right around the corner. It'll either be right near the end of when Crackdown is free or right after Crackdown is free, so it'll be fresh on everybody's mind when they announce it at Gamescom, if that's what ends up happening, which is what I'm guessing is going to end up happening. So I think that's pretty much a given. Fable 4, there's been rumors about it being an MMO.
Yeah.
There's been job listings cited on their site. Lionhead just recently hired an MMO veteran as the new boss of the company. Developers have come out saying how excited they are about the Fable franchise. They just announced the remake of the original Fable Anniversary Edition. I think that is another thing to get people pumped up. Just about a month ago, we had Fable 3 was the first free game for the games with gold. So I think it's safe to say that Crackdown 3 and Fable 4, or whatever they end up calling Fable MMO, Fable Online, I think they're pretty much a given.
Yeah. It's coming.
Bada boom. And last news article of the week is Bioshock Infinite announced their DLC. They released Clash of the Clouds and talked about the next two. It's going to be called Burial at Sea. It's going to be 2 parts. So me personally, I'll probably just wait until they both come out and play them both together at once. But you'll be able to play as Elizabeth. Booker will still be there, but you'll be able to play as Elizabeth, which I think is going to be pretty awesome considering how much powers she had when she was helping you out in the main game. And even bigger than that, it'll take place in Rapture, everybody's favorite city under the sea.
Going to be pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. Both of those will retail you $15 a piece. So that's $30, and if you add in the 5 for Clash in the Clouds, that's $35 if you buy them all separately. You can get the season pass for $20. I think this is one case where the season pass is definitely worth it. You're damn near saving 50%.
I hope so, because it took them forever. Those people that bought the season pass when they bought the game have been sitting there like, damn, my money just went to waste.
It was almost starting to feel like Skyrim. Remember how long it took for that first piece of Skyrim DLC?
Skyrim's a little bit more understandable, though, because of the massive open worlds involved with it, you know? But yeah, I see what you're saying. It took forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely. All right. So, and then speaking of that, we're going to roll straight on into the end of the show here. I actually played Clash in the Clouds this past week. Wasn't that impressed by it. There's 4 different levels. Each level has 15 different waves. There's a blue ribbon challenge for each level, and if you get the blue ribbon challenge, it'll give you some extra money, which you can use to buy, plasmids or perks or whatever they call them, and Infinite, yeah. And the guns you just pick up right before each wave, so you don't got to worry about buying guns. They're all there. You pick which ones you want, and you start the wave. If you really, really loved Bioshock Infinite's combat, then you'll probably like this DLC. Me personally, I thought if there was a weak point in Infinite, it was probably the combat. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best either. It was just kind of mediocre to me. To me, the setting and the story and the characters and the art style is what really made Bioshock Infinite something special. It definitely wasn't the combat. So you're taking the weakest point of the game, in my opinion, and making a DLC around that.
I just like the sky rails, man. I used to love just going on those.
There are sky rails in the levels, and there's actually a couple of the blue ribbon challenges is just stay on the sky rail and get all your kills from the sky rail.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, I had decent amount of fun with it for the time that I played with it. After a couple hours, I beaten 2 levels. I got bored with it. Honestly, probably won't go back and ever play it again. So
It's one of those.
Yeah. So if you really enjoyed Bioshock Infinite's combat, or if you had the season pass, download it, check it out. If you don't have the season pass, or you're like me and you liked everything else about Bioshock Infinite, then it's probably not for you.
The only thing that I wished is that they did the same thing that they did in American Nightmare, was made that a 2-player horde mode. It would have been more entertaining to do that with someone. Someone could have played as Booker, another one could have played as Elizabeth. That would have made it more fun to me.
Yeah, co-op. Again, co-op would have been. I'd probably still be playing it if it had co-op. But yeah. So there it is. Let's see. Now, Def, you were saying that you just recently have been getting down on Sonic Transform. So how are you feeling about that?
I really. At first, I was like, okay, it's another racing game, another Mario Kart. But then, as I played it, it's like how the items that they give you, they're a bit different. It's fun. It's like you pick your character and you level your character up, and if they get up to 6 levels, and each level it gives you a different a mod on the car. So one mod will be it makes you go really fast, but your handling won't be so great. And another one, your items, you get better items. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They got a whole bunch of Sega characters. It's Sega games I didn't even play or never heard of. So it's you're going through the game and unlocking characters by earning stars. You could get up to 3 stars per map,
right?
And you choose the level. 1 star, it's easy. The races aren't as fast. 2 star, they're a little bit more faster, and 3 stars is just balls to the walls to me. I enjoy it. I'm trying to unlock all the characters and get more of the maps, but I'm loving it. And there's a whole bunch of modes. There's you have the basic the campaign. You have a Grand Prix. You have multiplayer. You have a thing called Battle Race, which I actually like that, where you're actually doing a race, right, and you're battling at the same time. So there's 2 ways to win that, is to either win the race or knock all your opponents off the field. It has both Xbox Live and local co-op. And one thing that I like about it is if you're doing the Grand Prix or whatever, and you're playing this game, you can do the Grand Prix with co-op. It doesn't have to be just, there's 4 people playing, there's only going to be 4 characters on the screen. No, you can unlock stars and unlock maps with the co-op.
So who's your favorite person to race with on there?
Sonic.
Got to keep it classic. And I know, matter of fact, I actually borrowed this game from me recently.
Yeah, that was my player of choice.
Sonic.
Yeah. Especially once you We're talking about Transform, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, especially once you get to those upgrades or the bonuses that you can pick before you actually start to race. Yeah, and man, that game was great for Sega fanboys. All the levels, all the games that they referenced. It was great. I felt like almost I was playing a Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
Like it had that feel of like, all right, this is actually a Sega product that they put their time, their heart into, and you get that feeling back. Like, all right, they're paying homage to all their old games.
Yeah.
And it was a fun game. It was a little hard. Don't get me wrong, but it was fun. You know what I mean? So it was a good game.
Definitely. All right, and if you were to frag that, what would you frag it there, Big Kev?
I give it 4.5 frags.
4.5.
Well, that's about right. That's about right.
4.5.
I'd say so.
All right. So, matter of fact, going to hit up the retrospect in a minute, but before that, I just want to let everybody know that I finished Dust and Elysian Tale. Great game. I download a lot of arcade games. For those who know me, they already know. And they also know that I don't finish a lot of my arcade games. I download them, I play them a little bit, and then I go back to my retail games because that's where the big achievements are at.
Dust is worth finishing, though.
Yeah, it is. I got it when it first came out, played it, was loving it, got about halfway through, and then some other game came out, took my attention away. And like a week ago, I was sitting around, I was like, you know what? About to get back on Dust. And hopped right back into it, fell right back into the story, and played it until I beat it. It was just a great game. One of the best games on arcade, in my opinion.
Easily. Because I played the demo after you were telling me about it. And, the combat's great, tight, nice. And I love your sidekick.
Fidget?
Yeah, Fidget. Like the flying cat thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good game.
Yeah, definitely some cheesy humor in there, but it's still fun.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, it's worth it.
So I would just have to say final vote is 5 frags on that. Love it.
Oh, 5 frags.
5 frags.
I'll wait, stats.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's but it's great game. All right, so retrospect. You've been getting down with Capcom Arcade Cabinet and that Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, sir. And that Dungeons and Dragons, I'm gonna wait on that because I haven't beat. There's 2 arcades, 2 games, I guess, that were 2 separate arcade games that came out, 93 and 96. But I'm gonna wait on that and just write an article for that because I haven't beat the first one yet. Of course, when I loaded it up, it's like. Darkstalkers. So you have to hit the select button and you switch between the 2 games. I didn't realize that at the time, so I just played through the second one. But the one I have been playing the most is the Capcom Arcade Cabinet. And I can see a lot of people playing that and just, it's not for them, just for the way it is. I mean, you're talking about older games that are at least, our age, like 30 years old, close to that.
Yeah.
And, but, I mean, they have highlights on there, they have Ghosts and Goblins, and they have my favorite game on there, which I played once in the arcade. I remember it vaguely, but once I saw it on here, it totally hit me. It was Sidearms, and it's a shooter, side-scrolling shooter, left to right. You can get weapons, upgrade them. You can switch between the weapons you want on the fly, which is a good strategy. You can hit, I think it's A to shoot right, and if you hit B, you shoot left. So there's a lot of enemies on the screen, a lot of projectiles and all that stuff to dodge and all that stuff. But I mean, it's a pretty good shooter for what it is. And another one on there is Black Dragon. I remember playing that right next to what's the name of that? Magic Sword. In my local Pizza Hut when I was growing up, they were right next to each other. And Black Dragon, it's a side. It's almost like Ghosts and Goblins, but it's not quite. I mean, you don't get different weapons, but you can buy different weapons. I guess what I should say is
Ghosts and Goblins was off the hook.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
and the fact they had to beat it twice just made it even better. But Black Dragon and Sidearms and Ghosts and Goblins are probably the highlights of that Capcom Arcade Cabinet. And, 1942, 1943. Plus, when you buy all those games, I think it was 15 altogether. I waited until that sale they had and bought the whole thing. And you get 2 additional games. One's, I think it's Vulgus, if I'm pronouncing it right. It's Capcom's first arcade game ever. And it's pretty neat just to play that. And I mean, it's a top-down shooter. Spaceship. It was popular back then. Every company had a game like that. But the other one you unlocked was 1943X, which is like a Japanese-only release of 1943. And really, there's really not a whole lot of difference between the two.
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you have like maybe, I think it's just like 2 or 3 different weapon upgrades or that you
That's probably
pick
because
up.
the Japanese got their ass bombed in 1943.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I
That's
don't know
possibly.
Was it
1945?
1945 was Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, for what it is, I hate to say this, but if you didn't buy that arcade cabinet package for 1,000 points when it was on sale, 2,000 points for it, to me, it's a little too much. It's not worth, I don't think, the games that you get.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about games, like I said, they're like 30 years old.
So if it was on sale for 1,000, how much is it full?
2,000 points.
Yeah, so that's like $25.
Yeah, and I mean, you can easily drop. I mean, if it was a real arcade, you'd easily drop $50.
Now, is the base game free, or do you have to pay us?
You have to the base game. You download it. That's another thing. When I first downloaded it, you downloaded it, and you essentially get like the cabinet. Right. So you have the menu, and it has all the games, and it has the first 3, which is it was 19. It was Avengers, Black Dragon, and I think it was 1943 or 42. I can't remember exactly.
Right.
I mean, they're good for free. You're like, all right, that's cool. But then all the other games, if you cared about them, that's the thing.
Right.
Like, this is kind of a niche, product to buy. If you cared about them, then, you could either pay individually, which I think is like 320 Microsoft points, or you could wait, and they release packs by the year. It's all the way from, I think it's 83 to 87. And every pack, I believe, was 800 points. So, I mean, all in all, it's if it's something that you're looking forward to revisiting your old times playing the games in the arcade and just getting that nostalgia. And plus, I mean, those games are hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they have challenge. It's like Mega Man status up in there.
Oh, they're Mega Man status?
I would say so. Sidearms, I had to put that on. I left it on normal, but I bumped my lives up to like 7. And Infinite continues. Because at some points in that game, you, as soon as you die and spawn, you have 2 seconds of when you're invincible. But then, boom, you take a damage. Okay. And at some points in that game, you have like 8 enemies on the screen shooting 5 different bullets at you, projectiles. And as soon as you come in, respawn, boom, you're dead. So I mean, a lot of these games you can see that they were designed to eat your quarters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But definitely, if you like those old games and you just want that simpler, challenging feeling, I would definitely recommend picking it up. And same thing with Chronicles of Mystara, that D&D game that came out. It's pretty much like Final Fight. Imagine Final Fight with very limited RPG attributes.
Right. But now that's one game for $15.
That was $15, and now I kind of kick myself in the rear end for buying it. But that's just I had to buy it.
Now, now that you bought it, it'll be on sale next week.
Of course, that's usually how it works. But I remember seeing those in my local arcade, like in 95, 96, and I mean, it was fun. It was a quarter devourer. Like, it would take it.
Dungeons and Dragons is definitely a classic. I remember the first video game I ever played was a Dungeons and Dragons game on Intellivision.
Oh, Intellivision. Going back. Bring it.
It was just boom. Top down, you were like a little dot, and there
Square,
was like
a pixel.
There was like squares of green, and that was that was the forest.
Yeah.
And then there was like lighter green, and that was the grass. Mm-hmm. And then there was like a brown square with a small brown square at the side of it, and that was the cave entrance.
Yeah.
And you could hear like a snake hissing sound.
Yeah, and it's funny that we mentioned that games like that. That's when the owner's manual was so important.
Yeah.
Like with all the Atari games I have, luckily when I got it, I got all those manuals, and the manuals explain the whole story, what this dot is on the screen. Because I mean, back in the day, I mean, you go on there like Adventure on I have. You're a yellow brick, just a block.
Yeah.
Walking around, and the dragon on there is like 8 blocks that look similar. I mean, it looks like a seahorse, pretty much. So, but I mean, like, and it explains the whole story. you know. And that's one thing I miss about newer games is
Instruction booklet.
their instruction manuals are just so bad. I mean, just so bad. It's and in a way, it's kind of bad that a game is so self-explanatory that as soon as you put it in, you know exactly what to do. It's kind of by the numbers type thing. I just miss that mystery of like, what does that do? Like, what am I doing here? Like, well, where do I have to go for this?
Actually having to figure stuff out.
Yeah, use your head. Yeah.
Yeah, too many games holding your hand these days, that's for sure.
Pretty much. Yeah, and for every game that I play that has an intro that's a tutorial level, it just drives me crazy. I can't stand, you know, before you actually get into the meat of the game, you have to go through loops and hurdles just to figure out, you know.
Yeah, and even games that make the tutorial level optional, there's usually an achievement for playing for the tutorial level.
So they kind of force you at the same time. You're like, well, I don't want to. I already figure out pretty much what I have to do.
But I do want that achievement.
I do want that 5 points, you know.
So, all right.
I'll do it.
You hooked me in.
All right. Then like 45 minutes later, you're just like, that was a waste.
Yep. But hey, so that's pretty much it for the show this week. I would like to give a shout out to Game Enthuse for having me on their show this past week. Props to them. If you haven't heard it, GameEnthuse.com. You can check out the show there. Definitely good peoples over there. Aaron, Mike, and Tiny. Appreciate that. Boom. And then, as always, check us out on fragtagradio.com or on Twitter at fragtagradio. And on the usual apps that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Good times. And Death from Above joining us on the air for the first time ever.
Yep, it's nice having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, fellas. It's a pleasure.
Always.
Faux show. All right, and then so hopefully sometime again in the near future. And we're going to close it out. We will catch y'all on the flip side.
Frag Tag Radio.